Think you know the Roman Empire? Think again. Behind the statues, togas, and gladiator fights lies a world of strange, shocking, and downright bizarre secrets they don't teach you in school. From emperors who worship chickens to a cleaning hack involving, wait for it, human pee. This isn't your typical history lesson. Get ready, because today we're counting down 7 of the weirdest Roman Empire facts that will completely change the way you see the ancient world. Let's dive in. Secrets of history. Truth buried like mystery. Beats rolling with the funk on lock. Let's keep the past. Tick tock, tick tock. Weird fact number 1 is pee-powered laundry. Imagine dropping your tunic off at the local laundromat, and the main cleaning ingredient is urine. Yep.
Urine clean and press, please.
In ancient Rome, fullers, professional clothes cleaners, used human pee because its ammonia content made it perfect for lifting stains. Public toilets weren't just for, going. They were collection points for this ancient stain remover. Weird fact number 2. All right, so picture this. It's ancient Rome. The Colosseum is packed. People are screaming, but they're not there for football or Taylor Swift. Nope, they're here for gladiators, the original celebrities. These guys were basically the rock stars of their time. Forget Instagram followers.
Nope.
The best gladiators had actual fan clubs.
We love you, Spartacus.
Little wooden trading cards with their faces on them? Yeah, they had those too. Imagine opening a pack and pulling out Maximus the Mighty. Instant flex. And merch? Oh, they had merch.
Get your Maximus t-shirts here.
But here's where it gets wild. People literally believed that gladiator sweat and even blood were good luck charms. Like, imagine finishing a brutal fight and some rando sprints up with a tiny jar yelling,
"Bro, can I get a drop of that for my collection?"
Forget selfies. In Rome, the dream was getting gladiator sweat rubbed on you. Talk about moist clout.
Can I rub on you?
If you think today's celebrity culture is weird, ancient Rome said, if you didn't just go viral, you went vile. Literally. Weird fact number 3, feast until you drop. All right, so let's talk about Roman banquets, because when the Romans partied, they didn't just eat. They waged war on their digestive systems. These feasts were insane. Imagine a 12-course meal where every dish is either covered in honey, dipped in wine, or still slightly alive. And when they got full, like normal people after 3 slices of pizza, did they stop? Absolutely not. Nope. They would politely excuse themselves, go find a corner, and boot their guts out.
Pardon me, Lucius. I just need to offload that 5th helping of flamingo tongue pate. Save me some more eel pie, yeah?
Now, you've probably heard of the vomitorium, right? Surprise. It wasn't a special room just for puking. Vomitorium actually meant the exits of a stadium, like how the crowd vomits out after a gladiator match, not because everyone needed to yak after seeing Steve the Gladiator get body slammed. Although, fair, but vomiting at parties, 100% real. In Rome, it wasn't eat, drink, and be merry. It was eat, drink, eject, and repeat. Imagine hosting a dinner party today and your guests are like,
"Excuse me, where's the designated puke area?"
Ancient Rome, come for the roast peacock, stay for the casual tactical chunder. Honestly, Roman feasts weren't meals. They were extreme sports. You didn't just survive dinner, you earned it.
Winner.
Weird fact number 4, the original wipe method. Ancient Rome, the empire that gave us roads, aqueducts, epic battles, and communal butt sponges. Yep, when nature called in the Roman world, you didn't reach for some quilted luxury triple ply. No, sir, you waddled over to a public latrine, plopped yourself down on a long stone bench with a row of, let's say, open-air friendship holes, and next to you, a stick with a sponge on the end. That, my friends, is the tersorium. Now, before you scream, wait, was that a shared sponge? Oh yes, it was the Roman version of a multi-use wipe. When someone finished their imperial business, they dunked the sponge in a bucket of salty vinegar water, give it a rinse, and leave it there for the next brave soul. Kind of like passing the torch, but significantly less glamorous. Imagine the awkward small talk.
So, Lucius, how's the army?
Good, good. Mind passing me the communal sponge?
It was like a very unsanitary relay race with no winners. And look, maybe it kind of worked. Maybe the vinegar helped a bit. But let's be honest, for the modern germaphobe, this is basically a horror movie. So next time you're in a nice private bathroom with a locked door and a fresh roll of toilet paper, say a little thank you to the gods of hygiene, because back in ancient Rome, every wipe was a gamble. Weird fact number 5, sacred chickens decided battles. Ah yes, the mighty Roman military machine. Battle-hardened legions, gleaming armor, and wait for it, chickens, that's right. Sacred, clucking, feathered oracles of doom. See, Roman generals didn't just trust maps, strategy, or, military intelligence. Nope. Before charging into battle, they'd consult the chicken buffet. These weren't just any chickens. Oh no, these were divine poultry, kept by specially appointed priests known as augurs. Their sacred duty? Feed the chickens and watch them like it was a medieval episode of MasterChef. Here's how it worked. If the chickens pecked enthusiastically,
To peck or not to peck? That is the question.
boom, that's a good omen. Let's go stab someone. If the chickens turned their beaks up and didn't eat, cancel the war, lads. The bird's not feeling it. Just imagine being a Roman commander, full battle plan laid out, troops ready, and you have to tell everyone.
Men, the chickens aren't hungry. We're postponing the bloodbath till they fancy a snack.
Can you imagine Napoleon or Caesar shouting,
Sound the retreat. Clucky's on a hunger strike.
In one real case, when the chickens refused to eat, a frustrated admiral actually threw them overboard, yelling,
If they won't eat, let them drink.
which honestly sounds like something your drunk uncle would say at a barbecue. So yes, Rome, home of philosophy, engineering, and chicken-powered battlefield decisions, the fate of thousands, empires rising and falling, all in the wings of a bird who might have just been having a bad feather day. All right, quick pause before we dive back into the weirdness of ancient Rome. If you're enjoying this madness, and let's be honest, where else are you going to hear about sacred chickens and gladiator sweat? Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and maybe even ring that little bell so you don't miss the next round of bizarre historical chaos. Seriously, your support helps more than a Roman bath helped cover up the fact that someone just spent the morning wrestling for that sacred sponge. All right, back to the weird stuff. Weird fact number 6, Caligula's horse promotion. If you think your workplace has questionable leadership, allow me to introduce Emperor Caligula, the Roman ruler who once tried to make his horse a consul, aka one of the highest political offices in the entire empire. Yes, a horse with hooves and zero public speaking skills. Although, let's be real, that's still probably more coherent than half the Senate. His name was Incitatus, and this was no ordinary horse. Oh no, this equine influencer lived in a marble stable, wore a jeweled collar, and had slaves. Actual human beings, serving oats to a horse that probably neighed in Latin. Caligula didn't stop there. He allegedly promised Incitatus a consulship, which is sort of like saying,
My dog is running for president, and frankly, she's polling better than Congress.
One historian claimed the horse had its own furniture, including an ivory manger. That's right, this horse had better interior design than your apartment. People say Caligula did it to mock the Senate, which is peak petty.
I could replace you all with a horse and Rome wouldn't even notice.
Honestly, iconic. Can you imagine the campaign posters?
Incitatus, 41, AD. Strong, silent, occasionally kick stuff.
And honestly, would you rather have a corrupt, lying politician or a horse that just wants snacks and scratches behind the ear? Either way, Rome was galloping toward disaster, but at least it did so in style. Weird fact number 7, toothpaste, Roman style. Ah yes, Roman dental care, because nothing says fresh breath like a dab of seafood and bone dust first thing in the morning. Now, forget your minty toothpaste and fancy electric toothbrush. The ancient Romans were brushing their teeth with a charming little cocktail of crushed oyster shells, burned animal bones, and, oh yes, mouse brains. Apparently, mint was out, and mammal brain paste was very much in. Can you imagine that morning routine?
Darling, have you seen my jawbone grinder? I need to whip up a fresh batch of rodent molar sparkle before the toga party.
And let's not forget, this wasn't fringe behavior. This was normal. The ancient Roman version of self-care, a bit of oil in the hair, a sponge on a stick in the loo,
Who's first for the sponge then?
and mouse goo on the teeth. What a time to be alive. And don't get me wrong, the goal was still to have a dazzling smile. You know, for those cozy banquets where everyone's vomiting between courses. Because nothing compliments regurgitated eel pie like the lingering scent of roasted oyster enamel.
Oh, Flavius, your teeth shine like marble, and your breath smells like Neptune's laundry basket.
Seriously though, it's weirdly impressive how committed they were to oral hygiene, even if it meant turning your mouth into a seafood-flavored science experiment. It was less fresh breath and more biohazard with a Colosseum glow. But hey, you can't fault the effort, and if someone did complain, you just smile, brain paste and all, and say,
It's artisan.
and that's a wrap on some of the weirdest stuff ancient Rome ever cooked up, from mouse brains to vomit. Honestly, it's amazing the empire lasted as long as it did. If you enjoyed this little dive into Rome's grossly entertaining past, go ahead and give this video a like. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss the next round of historical weirdness. It really helps us as a new channel to grow. And let's be honest, it's the least you can do after learning about sponge on a stick toilet habits. Got a weird historical fact of your own? Drop it in the comments. I might just feature it in a future episode. History, proving humans have always been weird. Thanks for tuning in.
Secrets of history.